Professor Class 230 here. Welcome to Burgman Basic 101 class. If you're viewing the wrong class, you can leave now. This is 2009 Burgman 650. I know a lot of this is going to bore the Burgman owners, but hang in there. Suzuki Burgman. Suzuki, as most of you know, is a U.S. company home-based in Silicon Valley, which is located in upstate New York between the cities of Miami and San Diego. The 2009 Burgman 650, specifically Burgman, stands for, or is there in recognition of Claire Burgman, who during the beta testing of the Burgmans drowned. 650 represents that the bike with its 4-gallon fuel tank will give a minimum, depending on how you drive, right around 650 miles total. A lot of people that know me are kind of surprised that I went with the Burgman. I think what they don't realize is that, while riding motorcycles is my #1 passion, I really like water activities. I love being out on the ocean, especially with a ski-doo or a little sunfish sailboat. I like deep sea fishing, jet skiing, just about anything you can do out on the water I like a lot. Hobie cats, enjoyed a lot. So the Suzuki Burgman is a natural vehicle for me. As many of you know, it is the only amphibious motorbike sold to the public. And, well, that's pretty much a lot of the basics. Specifically, I'm going to go over some of the controls and some of the differences between the 400 designation, which, by the way, the 400 designation actually gives you a total of 400 miles on a 2-gallon fuel tank. And I'll go over some of the things here, okay? Now, since this is an amphibious vehicle, I really enjoy going to the water, and so I'm always prepared because I do a lot of things for the moment. I always keep in the front bag, I keep some trunks, snorkel, water goggles, towel, the whole 9 yards. As you can imagine, it comes in pretty handy. This apparatus is actually what helps keep the engine cool. It vents everything. It acts like a big hair blow dryer. You can actually, and it's actually forced air, because when in the water, you don't want any water getting in anywhere. And this actually, any liquid that comes within this range will be immediately evaporated by the heat coming out. So that's kind of handy. Towbar on land. This is used as a handlebar for the passengers. Towbar. This, the Burgmans actually, the 650 specifically, will have the equivalent towing power of 12.5 tugboats, which is very handy. A lot of emergency on the waterways will use this to tow other watercraft in an emergency. Ski tow bar, very handy. This is your lockable fuel where you put the fuel in. And this will use regular gas, 87 octane. Now, there's an executive model which has some upgrades to this. The executive model is actually a hybrid. It'll do everything that the Burgman 650 does, but it's got some extra things. One of the things is the executive model will run on regular petrol or horse urine. The way it's explained to me by the biology department is that horse urine consists mainly of DNA that is specific to a horse, that's like a speed and strength DNA strand. And really it gets a little technical there, but that's why it's specifically horse urine. All through here, all this place here is actually, when you're in the mode, in the waterway mode or whatever you want to call it, that fills with helium. And the switch to go to helium, or actually to prepare the bike to enter the water, is this up-down switch. When you press the up switch, you're actually riding on the road, your normal motorcycle riding. The down switch does a few things. It fills these areas with helium, and you can probably see the slits here in the rear tire. That's where your actual little paddles come out and force the water as you're going, as you're traveling through the water. And the helium actually comes from underneath here. There's an easily removed tank. Let me get that. There you go. The helium this will actually hold 10 refills of helium, so that when you're in the waterway and you fill up these areas with helium, and this is compressed obviously to fill all this, but when you're in the waterway, in the water, and you fill this all up with helium, once you hit dry land, it will either do automatically if you forget, or you can go to the up mode, and the helium will be released and filled with just your normal air. These canisters, again, hold 10 charges, compressed helium, and they can be refilled at any local Walmart. Okay. We'll go over just a few of the controls. One of the things that Suzuki realized is that the vast majority of people that own the Burgman are motovloggers, and that's either motoring on the highways or motoring in the water. And so whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you've got these levers here, and what these levers do is they activate a red light in the back and a warning light in the front, here and here, and that alerts the general public in the area that you are filming. It's sort of like a recording studio. And everybody knows this, but what it does is it asks them to be quiet while you're filming. Very handy for motor vloggers. You got these two boxes here, and these two boxes are specifically used in emergency situations out on the water. Box here and here. They hold, one box holds tablets, which will convert salt water to drinking water. And the other one holds tablets, capsules actually, that are nutrients. They will supplement your inability to have food for, depending on your size and everything, and your appetites, for up to 60 days. Quite a bit of time at sea to be rescued if all else fails. This here is a little backrest, and it's adjustable when riding to give comfort on the roadways, or it will release and can be used as a flotation device. This actually changes your lights, your light setup on the overall bike. This switch changes from on the road to nighttime running lights while out in the water. The DM switch. This is an interesting switch and pretty unique to the Burgmans. In fact, I don't think there's any other bikes that has this. This yellow switch here, the bike comes with 26 of them. The M is on all of the buttons, but the D, where the D is on mine, actually goes to the alphabet. My name is Dan, so I use the D switch. And what this does is when I'm in the D, when I have it on the D, everything on it, the suspension, location of handlebars, windshield, everything adjusts to my riding comfort. When you switch to the M, it goes back to the manufacturer's preset on all of that. So it's pretty handy. You see this switch here that has like starboard and port. Oh, I should explain that on the Burgman, when at sea, you obviously go to nautical terminology, and the front there then becomes the bow, the rear the aft, the left the port side, and the right the starboard side. Now, if you happen to be at sea and you have maybe you're towing, and for whatever reason you have to tow from the a little bit to the right, you're off center on what you're towing, maybe there's some restrictions in the water that make you do that. This will actually adjust the ballast from starboard to port and keep your bike centered in the water. So that's very handy. The power mode is specifically used when towing. You can tow a couple of skiers, but if you're towing, say, an ocean liner, you really have to have it in power mode. That's what gives you your towing power. Basically turns this into a super tugboat. So again, you have to do that. Now, all of your digital things, all your digital displays will either, you can select to have them for on the roadways or to become nautical. So you can have nautical miles. You can actually check the depth of where you're at. Basically, all your gauges here are going to switch back and forth between land uses and water uses. It's very handy and very accurate displays. This red switch here, this will emit flares. So this is really handy if you're biking out in no man's land and you need to be rescued. You can use those, or if you're in the water, and it'll send up flares. And the bike actually, through different places, will emit. It actually has in storage, using this switch each time, will emit up to 50 total flares, depending on whether or not you have that many in the bike.